For the last 15 videos, you have learned how the US workplace actually works and where power really comes from. Now we start using it. This is the video where understanding becomes action. Because here is the truth nobody tells you about promotions in American companies. Promotions are not won in the moment the decision is made. They are won in the months before anyone is even thinking about the decision. The person who gets promoted is not the person who performs best during the promotion cycle. It is the person who positioned themselves correctly long before the cycle began. Subscribe right now because this video gives you the exact positioning system that decides who moves up. Let me tell you about two people at the same US company who both wanted the same director role. The first heard the role was opening and went into overdrive. He started staying late. He volunteered for everything. He made sure his manager saw how hard he was working. He polished his accomplishments and prepared an impressive case for why he deserved the promotion. He did all of this in the 8 weeks before the decision. The second person did almost nothing in those 8 weeks because she had already done the work over the previous 8 months. 8 months earlier, she had started having quiet conversations with senior leaders about where the department was heading. She had volunteered for one high-visibility project that put her in front of the people who would eventually decide. She had begun speaking in meetings the way a director speaks, about strategy, not just tasks. She had made her ambitions known early and calmly to the two people whose opinion would matter most. By the time the role officially opened, the decision was already leaning toward her. The first man was trying to win a race that had effectively already been decided. The second woman had positioned herself so well that the promotion felt obvious to everyone involved. She got the role. The difference was not effort in the moment. The difference was positioning over time. Drop the word position in the comments right now if you have ever scrambled to prove yourself only after a role opened up. I want to know how many people have been the first person in that story. Here is the principle underneath this. In US workplaces, promotions are lagging indicators. By the time the decision is made, it is mostly confirming something that was already true. So the entire game of positioning is about making the desired outcome feel inevitable before anyone formally decides. That is what positioning is. Making the outcome you want feel like the obvious conclusion. So how do you position yourself for a promotion that may not even exist yet? There are 4 specific moves. The woman in our story made all 4. Move 1. Make your ambition known early and calmly. Most US professionals make a critical mistake. They keep their ambitions secret until a role opens, then suddenly announce they want it. That looks desperate and reactive. The powerful move is to make your trajectory known long before any role exists. In a one-on-one with your manager, calmly say, "Over the next year or 2, I am working toward a leadership role, and I would value your guidance on what I need to demonstrate to get there." That single sentence does something powerful. It plants you in your manager's mind as a candidate before there is even a race. Now, when a role opens, you are already on the mental list. Move 2. Perform the next role before you have it. We touched on this earlier in the channel, but here is the strategic application. Identify the behaviors of the role you want. If you want to be a team lead, the behaviors are thinking about the team's priorities, mentoring others, speaking about strategy, taking ownership beyond your tasks. Begin demonstrating those behaviors now, visibly, consistently. By the time the role opens, the decision makers are not taking a gamble on whether you can do it. They have already watched you doing it. Move 3. Build relationships with the deciders before the decision. Promotions in American companies are decided by a small group of senior people, usually your manager plus 1 or 2 levels above. If those people do not know you personally, you are relying entirely on your manager to advocate for you in a room you are not in. The strategic move is to become known to those deciders directly, through visible work on projects they care about, through thoughtful contributions in meetings they attend, through small moments of genuine helpfulness. You are not bypassing your manager. You are making sure that when your name comes up, more than one person in the room already knows who you are. Move 4. Create a documented record of impact. When the promotion conversation happens, your manager needs ammunition, not vague praise, specific, quantified, documented impact. So you build that record continuously. Every meaningful thing you accomplish, you capture in a simple running document. What you did, what it changed, what it was worth in time, money, or risk reduced. When the cycle comes, you hand your manager a clean summary of your impact over the past year. You have just made their advocacy effortless. You have written their argument for them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should not act as if we have 10,000 years to live. He meant that we should be deliberate now, not someday. Positioning is the practice of being deliberate now about an outcome that arrives later. Most U.S. professionals are reactive. They respond to opportunities when they appear. Powerful professionals are positional. They arrange the board months before the opportunity appears, so that when it does, they are already standing where they need to be. Now here is what to do with this starting this week. Begin move 1, the earliest and easiest of the 4. This week, in your next one-on-one with your manager, calmly make your trajectory known. You do not need a speech, one sentence, something like, I want you to know I am working toward a bigger role over the next year or two, and I would really value your input on what I should focus on to get there. That is it. You have just planted yourself as a candidate before any race has begun. You have given your manager a reason to start thinking of you differently, and you have started the positioning clock months before anyone else will think to start theirs. The man in our story is still scrambling every time a role opens. He is still working hard in the moment. He is still losing to people who positioned earlier. The woman is now a director and already quietly positioning for her next move. The difference was never talent. The difference was that one of them treated promotion as an event to react to. The other treated it as an outcome to engineer. In U.S. workplaces, you do not win the promotion in the cycle. You win it in the months before the cycle begins. Start positioning now, like this video if it gave you a system you can actually use. Share it with someone who keeps scrambling every time a role opens up. They need this. And subscribe. Because in the next video, we go into one of the most powerful tools in this entire channel, the strategic use of silence, and how saying less at exactly the right moments builds more influence than any words ever could. Do not miss it.